We lived throughout our entire childhoods enjoying the wonderful world of Bikini Bottom, but we never took the time to take a step back and ask the world's most important question. How the hell do fish talk? If you really think about it, Bikini Bottom is basically like a real-life big city. You got chefs whipping it up Gordon Ramsay style. You got people throwing ass Meg the Stallion style. You even got the hood where you can buy a Xanny pill for $5 a piece. But we never really discovered the answer onto how exactly Bikini Bottom basically became under the sea Southside Atlanta. There are a couple pretty popular theories floating around out there. Obviously, the big one is the main one, the Bikini Atoll theory, a nuclear weapon of mass destruction was detonated off the coast of Bikini Atoll, and the radiation was the cause of mutation and allowed the sea creatures to mutate and evolve and become the advanced species that we know. The other theory is coming to us from the psychopath, the evil genius Alex Balin, in which he states that Neptune uses his witchcraft to transform Bikini Bottom into what we know it as today. This time we got another juggernaut mastermind to give us their take, our favorite film theorists. The film theorists are here to let us know what the scoop is and give us their idea on what exactly the hell happened to cause the origin of Bikini Bottom and all of the advanced sea creatures. So without further ado, film theory: is Spongebob a mutant? Solving Bikini Bottom's most popular theory. Let's see what we got. Duck it! It's okay, I'm still alive.
All right, I'm ready.
What just happened?
Hello, I like money.
Oh, this is so painful. Oh, it hurts so bad. Oh, it hurts so bad.
What
It hurts so bad.
Nice, man! Nice! Way to turn SpongeBob into a horror movie. What was that demonic being, dude? Nice.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory,
Hey,
the
man.
show that's all about soaking up knowledge like a sponge. Over the years, we've done our fair share of SpongeBob theories, from concluding that SpongeBob was actually adopted to trying to solve the Krabby Patty secret formula. But to this day, there's been one very popular theory that we've never touched, and that is the nuclear mutation theory. Basically, the theory that all the sapient sea creatures that we see on the SpongeBob SquarePants show are the result of nuclear
I'm
testing.
sitting here.
Now, that might
Bro,
initially
I'm
seem like a
sitting
logical
here.
leap. Like,
Hold
why
on.
would
Give me a second, man. You talking over me, bro. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this picture and I'm thinking, right, okay, I could see a lot of these creatures and what their origins were, right? SpongeBob's a sponge, Mr. Krabs is a crab, Patrick is a starfish. You got various forms of fish and sea creatures. But my question is, what the hell is the dirty bubble? Like, is he just some ginormous, like, fart bubble that David Hasselhoff ripped out and he just hasn't popped yet? Like, what exactly is the dirty bubble?
Sea creatures that we see on the SpongeBob SquarePants show are the result of nuclear testing. Now, that might initially seem like a logical leap. Like, why would anyone jump to such an extreme conclusion about the backstory of these characters? But when you stop and actually look at the evidence, there's a lot here that adds up, with the biggest point being that SpongeBob's home is called Bikini Bottom, named after the infamous Bikini Atoll, which, as you may know, is a group of islands in the South Pacific located more than 3,000 miles or 5,000 kilometers off the coast of Australia. Basically in the middle of nowhere. This remote location prompted the US government in the 1940s to say, hey, this seems like a great place to test our nuclear weapons. And boy howdy, did they do a lot of testing on those islands. According to official reports, the United States detonated 23 nuclear devices during the time, including one in 1954 that was 1,100 times larger than the Hiroshima atomic bomb. In a lesser known part of the story, there were actually about
Bro, what the hell is that? 23 nuclear bombs, dude. America's a bunch of supervillains. America's a bunch of, it's 11,000 times bigger than Hiroshima. Why the hell didn't you use that one, bro? Like, if you're gonna use nuclear warfare, bro, you might as well go all out, bro. Like, why'd you drop the big one in the middle of the ocean, bro? You killed some fishes, bro. Like, it's psychotic, dude.
150 people living
Sounds
on those
like a
islands
waste
that
to
they
me.
had to relocate during the period of testing, and then they sent back to live on the island. Seriously, in the 1960s, there was actually
Wait.
They sent 50 people living on Hiroshima atomic bomb. In a lesser known part of the story, there were actually about 150 people living on those islands that they had to relocate during the period of testing, and then they sent back to live on the island.
Dude, this is fucked up, bro. It's just the more history about America you learn, the more fucked up it gets, dude. They forced the people, the natives of Bikini Atoll, to leave so that they can test nuclear bombs, and then brought them back to live in the tainted radioactive air. Dude, this is psychotic, bro.
Seriously,
what
in
am
the
I listening
1960s,
to?
there was actually an attempt to resettle the Bikini Atoll Islands, something that ended in the 1970s when they realized that living on a former nuclear test site ain't great for your longevity. It's honestly a horrific story, and also real scary how little scientists back then knew about the full ramifications of the nuclear weapons they were testing. And that child-friendly story is where Bikini Bottom got its name. No theory there, friends, just pure fact. It is directly mentioned on the Viacom International website Programme Information.
Dwelling a few fathoms beneath the tropical isle of Bikini Atoll in the subsurface city of Bikini Bottom.
For the show. And
So
since
it's
common
facts.
knowledge at this
It's straight from the source. It's factual.
point
Okay.
that radiation causes mutations, hey, maybe these humanoid sea creatures are the direct result of said testing at the atoll. So that's the theory, friends. I've certainly heard worse. Heck, I've certainly made worse. In fact, the theory was so good that it got mainstream attention. Back in 2017, when the Huffington Post interviewed SpongeBob's voice actor Tom Kenny, they asked him point blank, what do you think about the popular theory that SpongeBob is the result of nuclear testing? And rather than trying to dance around the question, he confronted it outright. Quote, well, Bikini Bottom is kind of named after Bikini Atoll, you know, where they did nuclear testing decades ago. But I don't think SpongeBob and his friends are mutations. I think Bikini Bottom is like its own world. When the camera drops below the water and you go to Bikini Bottom, it's almost like it's another planet. You know, there's never topical references in the show. There's never an Oprah joke or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire joke or anything topical or pop cultural in SpongeBob. And I think that helps keep it really timeless and everlasting. End quote. What? Never a pop culture reference? Tom, have you
He's
seen
capping.
the show that made you
Tom,
famous?
you
You've got
capping.
references to Mary Poppins,
Too bad you forgot your umbrella. I did it.
A Clockwork Orange,
You are now 655321.
Otherwise known as number 655321.
that iconic
Oh, look
scene
at that.
from Rebel Without a Cause.
Tearing me apart!
And sure, those are just cultural references, but then again, what about this?
How will we ever get back to Bikini
Exactly.
Bottom?
Exactly. David Hasselhoff, the greatest pop culture icon of all time, was the star of the SpongeBob movie. You gonna tell me it's got no relation to real life? Are you telling me? Unless Tom Kenny is sitting here telling me that David Hasselhoff never existed and he's just been a SpongeBob character this whole time, bro. And everything I've known in reality has been a lie.
David Hasselhoff riffing on his 80s TV series Baywatch. Yeah, and regardless, you have a squirrel that's explicitly from Texas.
Can't you see? It's Texas.
SpongeBob even sings the "Be it ever so humble"
There's no place like home.
song in an episode. I'm not trying to be mean to Tom Kenny or anything. I'm just trying to establish that this is a world that very clearly interacts with the real life surface world, thereby meaning the Bikini Atoll theory has legs to stand on. Horrific, disgusting, mutant legs. Anyway,
Ew,
that's his opinion,
why
but
do you
again,
do that?
he's just the voice actor. Could it be possible that Steven Hillenburg, the show's creator, intended for this to be the case? He was, after all, a creator who was formerly a marine biologist and cared about things like humanity polluting the ocean. So why not start a series about the pollution of nuclear fallout? And that, Sponge Boys and Sponge Girls, is what we're exploring today. We're looking into both the science and
Which one
lore of
am I? Am I the
SpongeBob
Sponge
to
Boy or the Sponge
definitively
Girl?
prove or disprove this massive fan theory. And let me tell you this, the final result is not only surprising, it's actually the first time something like this has happened on Film Theory. No joke,
my
a
gosh.
theorist first. So put on your best
It's a
theorist
first.
pants, friends, because I'm ready for a theory review.
Leave your theories in the comments below. I'll pick my favorites in the next episode of Morty.
Banger.
First, sure, it's named
Banger.
after the place, but is Bikini Bottom's location in the show plausibly near Bikini Atoll in the Pacific Ocean? Yes. It has been proven time and again that Bikini Bottom is indeed in the Pacific Ocean.
I think it's a fact at this point, okay? I don't think there's any conspiracy, controversy, or debate center. I feel like it's a confirmed, known fact. The consensus agrees that it is, in fact, beneath the surface of Bikini Atoll. I think we've established that.
Episode pranks a lot, we see Sandy launch herself out of the ocean and back to Texas, and she comes from the east. And in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, as our titular yellow rectangle sings,
isn't that the west?
From the
Unless
east.
I'm
and
dumb.
Sandy launch herself out of the ocean and back to Texas, and
Look,
she
came
comes
from
the east.
Look
and
at the arrow is pointing from the. She came from the west. Look.
Launch herself out of the ocean and back to
right. She comes from the left. Over here. That's the way. I might be dumb, dude. I ain't.
From the east. And in the SpongeBob SquarePants, herself out of the ocean and back to Texas.
Down there it says meant to say west. Okay, see, I'm right. I'm not. Thank you. See, look at y'all sit here laughing at me. I know they made me think I'm dumb, bro. I paid attention in school.
From the
sometimes.
East. And in the
okay.
SpongeBob SquarePants movie, as our titular yellow rectangle sings Goofy Goober Rock, the camera zooms out of the ocean, specifically at the location where Bikini Atoll is IRL. It's not the most accurate of globes, but if this is Australia and that's North America, here's where Bikini Atoll is IRL, and here's where they zoomed out of in the movie.
And Hawaii is ginormous. Look at that.
Even the sea life that we see in Bikini Bottom lines up here. We see all sorts of animals, large and small, filter through the town, but large permanent residents like Pearl the sperm whale, yep, Bikini Atoll is absolutely within her range of habitat. Blue whales like Frank the whale, yep, in range. Pufferfish like Mrs. Puff, yep, and on the list continues. So just from the initial check here, yes, Bikini Atoll lines up both geographically and marine biologically with the places and characters that we're seeing throughout Bikini Bottom.
This, Matthew.
So let's now look at the science of radiation. Most media tend to treat nuclear radiation like magical fairy dust that just gives special powers to anything it touches. Why is the Hulk green and super strong? Radioactive blast. Where did Peter Parker get his Spidey sense? Radioactive spider. How did Professor X become a telepath? A radioactive bomb. At least if you're reading the X-Men comics from the 1960s. Yeah, they've kind of washed over that part of Marvel Comics history, but in the early days, Professor X was the result of his parents working on the first atomic bomb. Anyway, even SpongeBob the show leans into this trope with the character Atomic Flounder, who's apparently so radioactive that he can just cause people to spurt extra mutant arms by touching them with his nuclear touch.
Careful, Barnacle Boy. He's got nuclear touch.
Now, of course, that's part of an in-world TV show that SpongeBob and Patrick are watching on a VHS tape, and not really canonical to the true setting of Bikini Bottom, but it does.
One question we need to answer is, well, how the hell do technology be working underwater? But I got TVs. Karen is an entire computer system rolling around on wheels and shit, bro. Like, how does technology work? Electricity work under the sea? Makes no sense.
The concept of nuclear
this
mutation
whole show just makes absolutely no
within
sense
this fictional world, which then begs the question: just how realistic is the trope? And this isn't just a digression; it's a question of science. If Steven Hillenburg wanted to ground his show in some element of science, just how close to real science is this concept? Well, it's certainly far off, but also not as inaccurate as you might expect. I think we all understand that nuclear radiation is bad and dangerous, right? Like, I don't think any of us are eagerly running away to roll around in the dirt of Chernobyl, hoping that we become the
I don't know, man. I don't know about you, bro, but I've had dreams of poisoning my entire nervous system with the effects of radioactive air. I don't know about you, man.
I think any of us are eagerly running away to roll around in the dirt of Chernobyl, hoping that we become the next Jubilee. A former nuclear testing site is generally not the kind of place that people or marine wildlife are going to want to live, nor the kind of place where they're going to be able to thrive and build a fully functioning marine society. Well, sure, it is true that nuclear radiation results in mutations. The vast majority of them are bad. And not just like a little bad, they're bad in a cause your organs to stop working properly kind of way. So does that mean that nuclear radiation is a non-starter and trying to induce beneficial mutation?
Dude, we're just gonna skip over that dude melted right in front of our face like he's a wicked witch of the west, dude. The hell was that?
So does that mean that nuclear radiation is a non-starter in trying to induce beneficial mutation like we see in Spongebob? No, because while most mutations are actual death sentences, it doesn't mean that all of them are. See, for instance, the atomic gardening movement of the 1950s, which aimed to intentionally induce mutations in living plants by blasting them with radiation. Now, before you get too excited about this being a way to help your petunias grow, it's important to remember that most plants didn't fare too well in these experiments. In gamma gardens, as they were
who would've
called,
thought?
gardeners would arrange a
Who would have thought living plants would not do well being poisoned by radiation? Never would have guessed that,
with a
dude.
radiation source in the middle. The plants nearest to the center usually died, and most others featured what researchers at the time described as tumors or other abnormalities. But there were incredibly rare situations where the mutations were actually beneficial in nature. And you see, that right there's the point. The breeders who were trying to develop new types of plants didn't need all, or heck, even most of the plants to survive the
Where the hell
process.
Mario
Their
come
goal
from?
was to just take the most genetically fit or genetically interesting from
Who wins in a street fight? Who wins in a street fight, Mario or SpongeBob? I'm giving it to SpongeBob, bro. The SpongeBob knows karate, bro, and he can't drive, bro. Just give SpongeBob a car, and he just mow Mario down, bro. Mario's a plumber, bro. He's equipped with like a wrench or something. He can like kill somebody by hitting him on the head, bro. But I got SpongeBob in like a 5-round exhibition street fight.
Their goal was to just take the most genetically fit or genetically interesting from each generation and use those seeds to create more of them. It was essentially a way of accelerating the process of selective breeding. Instead of waiting for interesting mutations to occur naturally, you artificially induced them using radiation. And according to Dr. Pierre Lagoda of the International Atomic Energy
What's up,
Agency,
Pierre?
radiation breeding has produced thousands of useful mutants, including varieties of rice, wheat, pears, peas, cotton, bananas, and peanuts. And going back to Bikini Atoll for a minute, sea life seems to be returning there. According to a recent article, the place is slowly coming back to life with, quote, coral the size of cars, as well as schools of fish and crabs that eat radioactive coconuts. All of this is to say that while the
Nice.
SpongeBob nuclear testing theory might seem absurd on its face or something that would only work in science fiction, it is actually based in some level of scientific fact. It is certainly possible from a scientific angle that this theory could work, except there is one big problem that ultimately debunks this theory, and that's time. Because while the Bikini Bottom
This
nuclear
is what Alex Bell was talking about, bro. Bikini Atoll was in the 50s, and Bikini Bottom existed in the prehistoric times with primitive SpongeBob and Patrick and Squidward and all them. Yep, I remember
testing
this.
theory does indeed square with some real-world evidence. What it doesn't hold up against is the TV evidence, the actual lore of the show. The entire basis of the nuclear testing theory is that the intelligence of Bikini Bottom's residents and their ability to create a human-like society is the result of mutations that happened in the 40s and 50s when the island was being bombarded with nuclear devices. The big problem there is that Bikini Bottom has a history far older than that. In the episode Dunces and Dragons, we flash back to the 12th century and see that Bikini Bottom, back then Bikini Bottomshire, was home to a basic society of sapient sea creature.
Don't hold thy breath. We'll be
The
lucky if we
royal
get fed again
boob.
by the 12th century.
Bikini Bottomshire had the ability to verbally communicate, a basic system of government, basic architecture, in other words, all of the signs of animal intelligence that we see from them in the present day, centuries before us humans ever started messing around with nuclear technology.
Exactly.
At the end of the episode, SpongeBob tries to brush it all off as...
Some dream, huh, Patrick?
But Patrick quickly subverts that worn-out trope by pointing out that one of the citizens of Bikini Bottomshire, the king's jester Squidly, has time-traveled back to the present along with them. Besides that, SpongeBob's reactions throughout the episode and the existence of the medieval Moment Stadium in the present day confirm that the civilization of present-day Bikini Bottom has a history dating back to the medieval era.
12th century? Don't you see, Patrick? We really are in medieval times.
And the history of unnaturally intelligent sea life in Bikini Bottom goes back even further than
Yep,
that, all the way
that's-
to the
there it is.
prehistoric era.
There
Surely
it is,
we
the
all remember
primitive-
the primitive sponge and primitive star
Wearing
memes that originated from
loincloths to
season
cover
1.
these nuts.
What are you simpletons doing?
And while these two might not seem like the shining example of advanced animal intelligence, just take a look at them. They're wearing loincloths, which mean that they're sophisticated enough to create clothing. And while they haven't developed a spoken language, Squidward is able to train them to use basic tools. We see the same thing in the episode Spongebob BC, where prehistoric society has advanced enough that we see basic language starting to develop.
Beluga ready! Toboggan
I could list more examples here, but I think you get the point. Usually in these
This
videos...
episode, this still makes absolutely no sense to me, because I'm pretty sure SpongeBob moved to Bikini Bottom, right? And there was that episode where the pineapple, like, grew up out of the ground, you know what I'm saying? So that pineapple I'm not pretty sure that pineapple wasn't already there, and SpongeBob was, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like... I don't know, man. I thought SpongeBob, like, was a kid and lived somewhere else, and then he, like, moved to Bikini. Unless I'm dumb. Unless I'm dumb as hell and I'm remembering it wrong.
I could list more examples here, but I think you get the point. Usually in these videos, the lore leads us to a ridiculous theory that eventually gets debunked by science. But this time, it's actually the exact opposite. The lore is the thing doing the debunking. There's no denying that Bikini Bottom is inspired by and named after Bikini Atoll. And as we explore today, the marine life matches up, the real world geography matches up, we know nuclear testing happened there. Heck, we even know that in super rare cases, nuclear fallout can result in beneficial mutation. From that perspective, the citizens of Bikini Bottom could absolutely have been made into the advanced society they are today as the result of human experimentation. But the theory just doesn't hold up when you actually examine the lore.
But if you think, but here's another important question. What the hell was they doing when the bombs was being blown up, bro? Like, we've established that Bikini Bottom existed long before the nuclear explosions. So what the hell was they doing living underneath the nuclear explosions, bro? Is it just like the dinosaurs, right? The meteor came and just wiped out everything, and then everything had to, like, re-evolve? Is that what happened in this? Like, the Bikini Bottom, it was all cool in it, kicking it, vibing down there, you know what I'm saying? Smoking the boofies. All that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Doing some crack, maybe. Who knows what the hell they was doing back then. And then they, like, drop the bomb, it blows up, and then it just makes all of Bikini Bottom just completely extinct, and they had to build up from the ground up again. Like, what exactly was happening during that time?
Series. Bikini Bottom was advanced centuries before humans discovered the destructive force of radiation. An unexpected outcome, to be sure, but it looks like the nuclear testing theory just doesn't hold water. Or, as you might say, it's just a theory. A film theory. And if you're looking for something that does hold water, or soda, or milk, look no further than these reusable dishwasher-safe cups that we're selling over on...
Save the planet, reusable. All right, bro. All right, this one basically confirmed exactly what that psychopath Alex Bale said, bro. This basically said, yeah, Bikinis is based off of Bikini Atoll, right? We've established the geography, the location, all that stuff, right? So it's a fact that it's Bikini Atoll. But the main question was, were those nuclear detonations the cause of mutations for the characters of Bikini Bottom? And this confirms that it's not. Now we're 2 for 2, right? Alex Bale said, hell no, it was the magic of King Neptune. And then Matt Pat comes in here, he's like, hell no, that just isn't what the hell happened. You know what I'm saying? He didn't give us exactly a reason in this one. He basically just said that it wasn't nuclear. And Alex kind of gave us the rundown. He said it's Neptune's witchcraft and stuff like that. So who knows, man? Who knows? I still don't even know if we solved this damn mystery, bro, because the world of SpongeBob is so complicated. Just trying to think of all of the small, minor little details makes my brain hurt, and I want to take a bubble bath and a nap, dude, because I get overwhelmed and anxious watching videos like this, bro. So there you go. If you were worried and or anxious that SpongeBob and friends were the collateral damage as the result of nuclear warfare on the surface by the evil, psychotic American government, then you can rest your little head a little bit easier tonight. Your heartbeat can slow down just a little bit before it beats out of your chest and you pass out from a heart attack or something, okay? It's okay. SpongeBob is not a nuclear mutant, and we've established that.